What's up, guys? Time for my weekly review of this week's episode of NXT. And man, were there a bunch of awesome shit tonight. We kick off the show with Baron Corbin taking on the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. The match that was supposed to take place a few weeks ago, but Apollo Crews didn't let it happen. Tonight we got to see it, and it was a good match. Baron Corbin coming out strong at the starting, taking Ty Dillinger down, taking him down, beating the shit out of him. I will admit Baron Corbin is improving a lot, and I'm starting to be able to at least accept him winning matches now. And he freaking does the best freaking spinning side slam in the WWE. It's freaking ridiculous. He does like an extra rotation on it. It's fucking ridiculous. Ty Dillinger ends up fighting back. He tries to get back in it, hits a freaking wicked super kick, then goes to the middle rope, and I freaking called it. I called it. Baron Corbin catches him out of midair, spins him around pendulum style into the end of days. And it's the end of Ty Dillinger's days. The Perfect 10 got beat, but at least it wasn't in 10 seconds, like there normally are. But no, Baron Corbin actually had a decent week match. And he actually pulled out a couple new moves in the match too. So, like I said, Baron Corbin's actually improving. Then we had a freaking shit ton of interviews tonight backstage and shit. After that, we had Apollo Crews backstage interview, and he's talking about how he's gonna be facing Baron Corbin and Samoa Joe next week in a tag team match, along with the NXT champion Finn Balor. And he says that he isn't concerned if Finn Balor's injured or not. That the only thing he's concerned about is what he's gonna do to Baron Corbin before their match, that takeover. Great promo. Apollo Crews set it up good. Apollo Crews is another person I'm starting to be able to get behind because he's adapted his freaking move set too. So yeah, NXT is starting to go back uphill again. And then after that, we get a Ciampa interview backstage. Tomasso Ciampa is talking about how he is set to face Samoa Joe tonight, and Samoa Joe's had this weird look in his eye ever since he attacked Finn Balor. Tommaso Ciampa don't understand what it is, but he's gonna beat Samoa Joe tonight, and when he beats Samoa Joe, everything's gonna change. Now that didn't happen. We'll talk about that at the end of the review. After that, we got Nia Jax taking on the return of da 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 Blue Pants. And this match was a squash match by far. I don't even think Blue Pants hit a move. Like, she ducked Nia Jax's clothesline or something like that at the starting. And that's the most offense she got. Nia Jax whooped her ass and won with a standing leg drop, much to the ovation of the boos from the crowd because no one likes Nia Jax, especially me. So, enough talk about that fat motherfucker. Let's go on to the next match where Dash and Dawson are backstage. They're cutting a promo talking about how, well, this was earlier in the week, I believe, but they were talking about how Enzo and Big Cass, yeah, sure, they may be coming back, but they're the kings of the mic, man. They don't do anything in the ring. They just talk the talk. They don't walk the walk. He has a good point there somewhat. They're more of a talking type thing than an actual in-ring skill, but they're freaking phenomenal on the mic. What did they call themselves? I mean, what did Dash and Dawson call them? Something Kings. I don't know. It was another K or C word, something like that. It sounded good. They called them the Something Kings, but it was pretty funny, and they cut a decent promo. I do believe Dash and Dawson will hold on to the belts at this show, but the following show after, Enzo and Big Cass is going to get them. Then moving on after that, the highlight of the freaking night, we had James Storm back in the building, and he took on Adam Rose, the party pooper now. And the crowd needs to start chanting, Adam's a lemon. That would be hilarious. The crowd needs to start chanting that. But no, instead tonight they just chanted party pooper at Adam Rose and etc. And James Storm ended up getting the comeback sequence. It was a little slow. Don't hate on him too much. He's getting old. But then, the best part of the night. Fuck the 8-second ride. He's going back to the last call super kick, baby. So, James Storm picks up a win with the last call. That's great. Thank you. So only one thing to say to you, Adam Rose. Sorry about your damn luck. Adam Rose takes the loss here. Of course, James Storm's now, what, 2-0 on NXT? I think he's only had 2 matches. So he's now 2-0. Great match. Awesome. I'm happy as hell James Storm's using the super kick. The last call again. Then we get a Vaudevillains interview that's interrupted by Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. And they're both talking about how they think they're going to win the match tonight, and etc. And that builds up to our match. Vaudevillains versus Chad Gable and Jason Jordan. This was the freaking best match of the night. This match was freaking badass. Chad Gable, like, I said this from the moment I first seen him, before he even started doing anything. I was like, yeah, Chad Gable, Jason Jordan, they look like a badass tag team. They're going to be awesome. Ready, willing, Gable. Love the freaking catchphrase. It's hilarious. And look at them now. They're the most freaking over people in NXT. I think they're more over than freaking Enzo and Big Cass or like Finn Balor. They're the most over people in NXT right now. So, yeah, that was freaking awesome. Chad Gable, like I said, he's a freaking ankle-picking genius. He freaking done some ridiculous-ass ankle-picking shit at the start. He's like the fucking next Kurt Angle, except he's like 10 times better than Kurt Angle, in my opinion. But it was freaking awesome. I loved it. Chad Gable, Jason Jordan, they end up picking up the win with that awesome back suplex toss into the other back suplex bridge thing. Yeah, whatever you call that. That move's fucking phenomenal, and they did an awesome job with it. So they pick up the win. And then the big story afterwards, the Vaudevillains decide not to shake Chad Gable and Jason Jordan's hand when they offer it. So I guess we might be getting heel Vaudevillains versus Chad Gable and Jason Jordan as a storyline. I mean, that sounds kind of interesting. I'd be okay with that. Then we got a backstage interview with Emma and Dana Brooke. And they're basically talking about how Asshead's been bothering them or something, trying to get in their head, and she's doing her stupid little smiley thing. Yeah, she's a fucking idiot. And Dana Brooke basically starts to go crazy, and Emma calms her down and says that she's going to show Asshead what she can do tonight in the ring. And then we get Emma taking on Liv Morgan, a new girl from New Jersey who is... But that's besides the point. She took on Emma. She pretty much just got squashed the whole match. I think she hit like 2-3 moves maybe. I don't know. There was one cool spot in it where she went to do the float over double leg hook bridge pin basically. And then Emma bridged up off of it and rolled it into... shit, I forget. What did she switch it into? I think she just switched it and then clubbed her in the back. And then ended up locking in the Emma lock after doing like a hand-assisted curb stomp, basically. And then she locked in the Emma lock and got the win via tap out. So that's cool. I like that they're pushing Emma again because that needed to happen. I mean, if anyone didn't think that needed to happen, you're stupid. Because Emma's a great wrestler. It's too bad Santino had to freaking ruin her, right? So, I mean, Emma picks up a win. Oh, speaking of that, a freaking sign in the crowd. I loved it. Evil or not, I love Emma. Someone had a crowd out there that said, evil or not, I love Emma. I thought that was hilarious. Then we had a backstage interview with Bayley, and she's basically saying, yeah, you know, I've taken a lot of punishment going up trying to get to this belt. I've beat the best, and now Nia Jax wants to take it from me. Well, she's on, and then Nia Jax shows up from behind her, grabs her by her ponytail, and throws her through a freaking door. Like, the door's shut and everything. She throws her into the fucking door. The door collapses in on it, breaks down the whole fucking door and everything, and Bayley's just laying there unconscious. So, I mean, I hate Nia Jax. Let's hope this feud can be somewhat good. I don't know. Maybe it will somehow in hell. But if Nia Jax wins, at least it's not that redheaded bitch. That's all I can say. But then the main event is Samoa Joe taking on Tomasso Ciampa. Like I said, we hyped it up earlier with the interview with Ciampa, and this match was fucking ridiculous. This match was like strong style at its finest. This was legit like they were beating the shit out of each other. Oh, it was bad. Samoa Joe was pretty much dominating the whole first half of the match. And then Samoa Joe's got him in an arm wrench. And then all of a sudden, Tomasso Ciampa just bitch slaps him as hard as he can. He slaps Samoa Joe right in the face. Finn Balor's got to be fucking intimidated as shit to put on a good match after that. After he's seen what Samoa Joe does, Samoa Joe's gonna beat the ever living shit out of him. But Tommaso Ciampa bitch slaps the shit out of Samoa Joe, does it again. Then Samoa Joe slaps the shit out of him too. Does it about 50 times in a row. Chops his chest where it looked like he was gonna concave his freaking chest. His heart was gonna fall out on the ground. And then Samoa Joe proceeds to. What did he even do? He like freaking kicked him in the fucking head, and it sounded like it freaking killed him. And then Ciampa is just laying there on the ground, and then Ciampa doesn't even fight back anymore. Samoa Joe just puts him up on the freaking turnbuckles, hits him with the muscle buster, and then locks in the Coquina clutch. And it's over. Tommaso Ciampa tries to fight out, but ends up tapping out. So, I mean, I don't know what they're doing with Ciampa and Gargano right now. They need to keep those two in a tag team, because they need to keep the tag team division fresh and with lots of teams. Although, you got the freaking hype bros who barely ever wrestle. So, I mean, I guess they have enough freaking tag teams. They don't need any more. So, I guess that makes sense. But don't make Ciampa and Gargano jobbers. They're fucking awesome. So, I mean. But there was a lot of freaking strong hits in this match. Like that rolling elbow from Ciampa was ridiculous too. Ciampa actually got a guillotine Kimura locked in, which looked pretty freaking sweet. And yeah, but like I said, Samoa Joe ends up picking up the victory. I'm not too surprised, but it's gonna be hard as shit for Finn Balor to top that, like to top Samoa Joe's striking performance there. Because Samoa Joe is just ridiculous. I'm not going to be surprised at all if Samoa Joe takes the belt. Another thing to talk about, another two things before I end this review. We got a promo package for the return of Sami Zayn, which is going to be happening here pretty soon. I'm sure it'll happen at the pay-per-view in London. Except if it does, I'm thinking we're going to get Sami Zayn versus Samoa Joe for the belt. I mean, that only makes sense, right? So we got Zayn, Joe for the title, for the NXT title. That actually sounds freaking interesting as shit. That sounds like that'd be a really good match. And then the other thing I have to talk about is they're doing that promo for the TakeOver event, and it's got some guy in a freaking hat and like a trench coat walking up through like the street, and then he smacks the freaking screen, and it turns into the logo. So does that mean we're getting a debut of someone new on the show? And if that's the case, who the hell is it? Because, I mean, he's wearing like a cowboy hat, so I don't know who the fuck it is. I mean, it's obviously not going to be Austin Aries then. It's obviously not going to be AJ Styles. Who the fuck is any good that wears a cowboy hat right now? Are they bringing back Jimmy Wang Yang? Like, who the fuck is it? Who the fuck wears a cowboy hat? Is JBL coming out of retirement? Like what's going on right now? Who the fuck is it? That's the big question right now. Who the fuck are they advertising there? Because I absolutely have no clue whatsoever. If anyone knows, I would like to hear it because I have no clue, and I'm really curious to see who it is. But other than that, guys, that's the end of my NXT review. Awesome show tonight. Wasn't a bad part. Baron Corbin's improved. Apollo Crews is improved. Everyone's freaking improved. Awesome freaking show tonight. Samoa Joe beat the ever living shit out of Tommaso Ciampa. Tommaso Ciampa bitch slapped the shit out of Samoa Joe's face. And this was just a ridiculous night. Wasn't a bad part. Don't have anything to complain about. Not even the fact that Nia Jax is beating up Bayley. Don't even care because this was awesome. And I actually even mentioned Asshead too and didn't diss her too much. So that's how awesome tonight's NXT was. So, other than that, make sure and come back next week for next week's NXT review, as it's going to be the go-home show to NXT's Takeover London, which is going to be incredible. And make sure and check out my picks next week for who I think, or I should say predictions, for who I think is going to win at NXT TakeOver.